Now that is your Rush Block of news, weather, and traffic in 5 minutes or less. Today, the nation will pause to remember the thousands of lives lost in the September 11th terror attacks. This morning, memorial services in New York, Pennsylvania, and Virginia marking the attacks 18 years ago today. Liza Lucas is at the 11 Alive Bridge monitoring the many tributes pouring in on social media. That video is still so hard to watch. Many years later here.
Exactly, Sheba, you really said it. And the images that have been coming in through our social media are powerful ones, powerful reminders of that day, and really all under the umbrella, united by the message, never forget. We've seen fire stations from across the country, firefighters paying tribute to those who never finished their shifts. We've seen also the NYPD dedicate their feed to their fallen brothers and sisters. The pictures of those officers are all over social media. This one I thought was especially powerful right there. The firefighter just hanging his head. Now, victims' relatives are expected to gather at Ground Zero today while the president will join a ceremony at the Pentagon, and also we'll see flags at half-staff. And again, just the amount of images that have been pouring in through social media, and many people also making the remark that never forget is not just a hashtag, it is something that many people live by every single day. And on our Insider page as well, people sharing their own stories. I know Wendy's a teacher. She said she has used this whole week to educate her students. So indeed, we do never forget, guys.
Yeah, it is really hard to forget. You know, when I woke up this morning, because I was, as a reporter, a younger reporter, this was 3 years into my career, going downtown to cover the 9/11 attacks. Every morning on 9/11, I wake up and I just have sadness that takes over my body, because I had to cover that day and I had to cover all the funerals afterward, and it is something I will never ever forget.
Yeah, a different meaning for my household. It's my wife's birthday, and so in celebration we do try to remember what took place that day. She was only turning 30 years old. It was a milestone birthday for her, so hard to forget. It has changed America, it's changed the way we operate. Even just going, I remember covering football games then. I was living in Richmond, Virginia. We used to go cover the Redskins or whatever. And how much had changed even going to the games, and how we operated, allowing people to come in and even allowing the media to come in. It's changed forever.
Yeah, even at the airports as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You hear people talk about it was like a numbness. I remember I was on the air at a local radio station here, 99X, and of course we stayed on the air and continued to cover as much as we could. But as I left that afternoon, nothing was open, nothing was going on, the streets were quiet, everybody was at home glued to their TVs, and it was just a numbness. It was almost like, my God, is this the end of the world? It was that terrifying.
That's exactly how I felt. I was right here in Atlanta, Georgia, 5th grade elementary school, Kittredge Magnet School to be exact. Miss Shepard walks in the room with the announcement, rolls that TV in, we're all watching television, and the teachers are crying, crying, embracing each other. I had no idea of the magnitude. You get on the bus, parents running, making sure that their children are safe, and that I feel like is the beginning of when I started realizing that, like, the mass shootings after, and just lives being taken, and it became this cycle.
We live in a different time,
yes,
that's for sure. It is 6:09 right now. One thing we need to know weather-wise.